Neoma nation to see their culture as a strategic instrument for development. Federal government announces plans to establish a National Cybersecurity Coordination Council to address rising cyber threats. President Bola Tinubu approves 3.3 trillion naira repayment plan to clear long-standing debts in Nigeria's power sector. Abroad, Israel's airstrikes destroy major Iranian petrochemical site. Good evening and welcome to Delta Television Main News tonight. My name is Francis Ofulue. You can also follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube, both at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, or visit our website www.dbsasaba.com. And now to our stories. The state governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborowori, has called on the Anyama nation to see their culture not merely as a symbol of identity, but as a strategic instrument for development and nation building. Governor Oborowori made the call at the celebration of the 20th edition of the Anyama Cultural Festival, organized by the Organization for the Advancement of Anyama Culture, OFAC, held at the St. Patrick's College, Asaba, with the theme, Culture, a Tool for Development. Parable 2 has details. And that story will come your way subsequently in our other bulletins. Now, residents of the state capital have shared mixed reactions over this year's Easter celebrations, with many describing the mood as subdued and reflective rather than festive. A cross-section of residents who spoke with Voice of Delta Television news reporter Henry Siayo complained that the current economic hardship and rising insecurity across the country had significantly dampened the usual vibrancy associated with the season. The report.
The mood in Asaba on Easter Monday was largely subdued as residents marked the public holiday with a mix of reflection, concern, and cautious celebration. Across the city, streets usually filled with movement and festivities during Easter appeared less vibrant, with many families choosing to stay indoors. Some residents attributed the low turnout in social activities to the prevailing economic hardship and insecurity in the country as factors influencing the cautious mood.
Just like what we always see during Christmas is not like it yesterday. Yesterday was so gloomy. People were not actually expressing what they want to express. Probably, I would say, it's because of the economy.
There is always no money, and people are just going on. So that's just the way it is. People are not happy. Things that make people to be happy are not there. People will not be happy, and when you are not happy, you want to just be. It's when people are happy they come out and celebrate. You understand? So Nigeria is currently people are not happy because of the way things are.
Not celebrating anything. Hardship. Everywhere is tight. No money. Look at the cost of fuel. Transportation has actually increased from 200 to charge you 400. So that's just it.
It's not good, but a lack of money. Yes. Even me myself, I don't get money to celebrate Easter.
Despite the challenges, many maintain that the essence of Easter remains intact, stressing the need to focus on its spiritual significance and embrace sacrifice, hope, and resilience, while urging Nigerians to hold on to faith during difficult times.
To celebrate Easter, I think is worthwhile because Christ is the reason for the celebration. So whatever we are facing, whether the obstacle, insecurity, everything, it is worthwhile celebrating Easter because Christ is the reason.
So my brother, like for me now, I still thank God. The small way God give me, I still manage myself, do small thing. I'm okay. So this is the period of to just celebrate Jesus. Tell God, thank you, because Jesus will die for the cross of Calvary for our sake. You know, easy, not be small thing. So we Christian, we are celebrating, we are jubilating for the Easter.
The Easter celebration was okay. It was like a normal day for me. I didn't celebrate much, but the joy was still there. The joy that our Lord has risen was still there.
The federal government declared the day a public holiday to enable Christians celebrate the season, but the expected buzz was noticeably reduced. Henry Usiayo reporting.
The federal government of Nigeria has announced plans to establish a National Cybersecurity Coordination Council to address rising cybersecurity threats affecting critical sectors. The initiative, championed by Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, will bring together cybersecurity experts, technology firms, law enforcement agencies, and key government institutions. The council is expected to work with the Office of the National Security Advisor to strengthen cyber resilience, improve response to attacks, and support the development of effective national frameworks. President Bola Tinubu has approved a 3.3 trillion naira repayment plan to clear long-standing debts in Nigeria's power sector under the Presidential Power Sector Financial Reforms Program. A statement signed by presidential spokesman Bayo Nanuga said the debts accumulated between 2015 and 2025 had hindered growth across the electricity value chain, noting that the intervention would restore financial stability and improve power supply nationwide. The statement added that implementation of the plan had commenced with 15 power generation companies already signing settlement agreements worth 2.3 trillion naira, while about 501 billion naira had been raised for the initial phase, with 223 billion naira already disbursed and further payments ongoing. It said the initiative was expected to restore investor confidence and ensure effective operations, even as the reforms would support improved metering, service-based tariffs, and increase electricity supply to homes and businesses. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has directed resident electoral commissioners to suspend all publicity and external preparations for the planned nationwide voter revalidation. The exercise, earlier scheduled to begin on Monday next week, was designed to update the National Voter Register ahead of next year's general elections. INEC, in a directive signed by its secretary, Rose Oraria Anthony, said the suspension affected only public-facing activities, while internal preparations would continue, instructing its officials to hold ongoing arrangements while proceeding with sourcing personnel and preparing voter enrollment devices required for the exercise. The Commission also disclosed plans to hold a virtual meeting with resident electoral commissioners on Thursday this week, where further guidance and clarifications on the validation exercise would be provided. Meanwhile, a civil society organization, Yaga Africa, has criticized the timing of the exercise, stating that although the voter register required cleaning, the framework and procedures for the revalidation have not been clearly communicated to stakeholders. And now the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, has demanded an apology from the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT administration, Mr. Nyesom Wike, over a statement the union described as reckless and threatening to press freedom. Mr. Wike's comment was directed at Seun Okinbolaye of the Channels Television during a media interaction where the minister reportedly made remarks interpreted as a threat of violence. The union said it delayed issuing a response in the expectation that the minister would retract the statement and apologize, but noted that the absence of such action raised concerns that the comment might have been intentional. The NUJ warned that such remarks undermine democratic principles and could create fear and unwillingness to pursue professionalism among journalists, urging the federal government to condemn the statement and take steps to protect media practitioners. It also called on media organizations, civil society groups, and stakeholders to stand in solidarity in defense of press freedom and the safety of journalists across the country. Meanwhile, the Independent Broadcast Association of Nigeria, IBAN, has asked Nyesom Wike, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, to retract a remark he made about Seun Okinbolaye, a journalist with Channels Television. IBAN is the umbrella body for all independent broadcast stations in Nigeria. The group also threatened to boycott all media engagements organized by the minister if he does not publicly apologize to the journalist. In a statement signed by IBAN Chairman Ahmed Ramalan and Acting General Secretary Fidelis Duka, the association expressed concern over the implications of the comment aired during a live television interview. On Friday, during a routine media chat, Mr. Wike said he was irritated by Okinbolaye's take on the trajectory of the nation's democracy while watching Politics Today, a program on Channels Television. And now, as the rainy season approaches, residents have expressed concern over flooding and called for proactive measures to prevent disasters. Henry Unogwa sampled opinions from residents on measures they believe should be put in place to mitigate the impact of heavy rainfall. The report.
Some respondents blamed flooding on dumping of refuse in gutters, urging residents to stop the practice. They, however, commended government for ongoing drainage projects.
They should keep their environment clean. They should not throw away waste bin in the gutter so that there will not be flood in the area. They should help us and help themselves also. Others
stressed the need for regular clearing of surroundings to ensure free flow of waters, noting that blocked drainages worsen flooding. A respondent also faulted some contractors for poor execution of drainage projects, which hinders water passage.
There are two factors I'm saying that causing all those things. One, the engineer that's in charge of all this drainage. If they do it well, you can't do drainage as a table land. It must flow in, it must have a angle of a slope. So when the water came, it can flow from up to down. But this one, everything though this will say when water that enter will not stay stagnant.
Residents further called for intensified sensitization on proper waste disposal and enforcement of environmental laws.
People are ignorant of general cleanliness. They will sweep from their shop, they will sweep from their house and then dump it in the gutter. And whereas the gutter is meant for wastewaters, I advise the government to put a public awareness to people so that they will not throw their debts, refuse inside the gutter again.
They emphasized that beyond government efforts, individual responsibility and community actions are key to tackling flooding. Henry Onogwa reporting.
Watching Delta Television main news still to come. Israel's airstrikes destroy major Iranian petrochemical sites. Stay with us. glad to have you with us right here in Delta Television Main News. We'll go straight to the foreign scene where Israel has said it has hit a major Iranian petrochemical site, which it claims produces half of Iran's petrochemical output. The new attack on the Asaliya site comes after US President Donald Trump threatened bigger attacks on Iranian infrastructure if the Strait of Hormuz is not open today. An explosive-laden threat, President Trump said today will be day, all wrapped up in one in Iran, and there would be nothing like it. There has been an accelerating frantic last-ditch diplomacy, although one insider said there needs to be a ceasefire first, but the White House said President Trump has not signed off on any ceasefire plan. Meanwhile, Iran has said the intelligence chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Majid Kademi, was killed in a US-Israeli strike yesterday morning, which Israel claimed responsibility. Attacks have also continued across the region, including in Lebanon, where Israel accepted that it killed the wrong people in a strike. Still on the war, Iran has said it has formulated its response to ceasefire proposals presented by intermediaries and will not engage in direct talks, while the US and Israel escalate attacks. US-Israeli attacks across Iran have killed at least 34 people, including at least 6 children. Iran warned of retaliatory attacks after US President Donald Trump set a Tuesday deadline to open the Strait of Hormuz or face raids on Iranian power plants and bridges. An Iranian missile hit a residential building in Haifa in Israel, killing at least 4 people. Iran attacks across the Gulf has continued with power, water, desalination, and oil plants hit in Kuwait and an oil facility targeted in Bahrain. And now to business. Liquefied petroleum gas marketers have attributed the recent increase in cooking gas prices to supply constraints and the global market. The dealers under the Nigeria Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers said reduced local supply and rising international benchmarks had made cooking gas more expensive, with marketers facing delays and irregular allocations. They noted that lower output from the Dangote refinery and higher cost supplies from the Nigeria LNG Limited had further pushed up depot prices nationwide. The gas dealers, however, expressed optimism that increased investment in infrastructure and improved local production will stabilize prices and ease supply challenges over time. Still on business. The Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, MAN, has warned that the unfolding geopolitical tensions in the Middle East poses immediate, severe, and multifaceted risks to Nigeria's manufacturing sector, while outlining urgent pathways to safeguard industry operators. Director General of MAN, Segun Ajayi Kader, in a statement said the sector is already grappling with the ripple effects of the global energy shock triggered by the conflict, warning that the sector's projected 3.1% real growth target for 2026 is now under serious threat. According to him, manufacturers' heavy reliance on gas and automotive gas oil, known as diesel, for production has exposed them to spiraling energy costs as rising global crude oil prices continue to push domestic pump and depot prices upward, eroding operating margins. Let's now join our sports news desk for happenings in the world of sports.
Super Eagles midfielder Alex Iwobi has publicly apologized for the late red card during Nigeria's 2-2 friendly draw against Jordan on March 31st in Turkey. Iwobi was shown a straight red card after reacting angrily to being held back by Jordan's Ahmed Jamos, an incident that temporarily marred the otherwise competitive friendly. Speaking on the Alexander Yajic podcast, the Fulham star admitted his actions were unacceptable and took full responsibility. Iwobi added that he is determined to learn from the experience and focus on the positives. The incident serves as a reminder of the importance of composure on the pitch, even in friendly matches, as Nigeria prepares for upcoming competitive fixtures. Warri Wolves emerged as one of the standout performers of matchday 33 in the Nigeria Premier Football League (NPFL), delivering a crucial 2-0 victory over Rivers United in a fiercely contested South-South derby at the University Stadium, Ozoro. The Seasiders set the tone early, going ahead in the 12th minute when Igbono calmly converted from the penalty spot. Warri Wolves maintained their composure throughout the counter and sealed the win in dramatic fashion when Othuke Egbo found the net in the 90th minute to secure all 3 points. The victory lifts Warri Wolves to 9th position on the table with 43 points, boosting their push for a strong finish as the season approaches its climax. Elsewhere, Enugu Rangers moved back to the top of the standing after a goalless draw against Barawu FC in Enugu. In other fixtures, bottom-place Kun Khalifat FC recorded an emotional 1-0 away win over Nasarawa United, with Stanley Otu scoring a stoppage time winner just days after the passing of their team manager. Remo Stars claimed a vital 1-0 victory over Shooting Stars thanks to a strike from Samuel Anekwe, while Enyimba FC salvaged a late draw against Wiki Taurus through Onyebuchi Nworisa. There were also emphatic wins for Kano Pillars, who thrashed Bendel Insurance 4-0, and Kwara United, who defeated Academy Warriors 3-0. Meanwhile, Katsina United edged Niger Tornadoes 1-0 to climb into the top half.
Here's our thought for the day. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. And on that happy and actionable note, we come to you with our bulletin for the evening. But before we go, a quick look on our major stories. The State Governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, has called on the Anyoma Nation to see their culture not merely as a symbol of identity, but as a strategic instrument for development and nation building. Governor Oborevwori made the call at the celebration of the 20th edition of the Anyoma Cultural Festival, organized by the Organization for the Advancement of Anyoma Culture, OFAC, held at the St. Patrick's College, Asaba, with the theme, Culture, a Tool for Development. The federal government of Nigeria has announced plans to establish a National Cybersecurity Coordination Council to address rising cyber threats affecting critical sectors. President Bola Tinubu has approved a 3.3 trillion naira repayment plan to clear long-standing debts in Nigeria's power sector under the Presidential Power Sector Financial Reforms Program. Israel has said it has hit a major Iranian petrochemical site, which it claims produces half of Iran's petrochemical output. The new attack on the Asaluya site comes after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened bigger attacks on Iranian infrastructure if the Strait of Hormuz is not open today. Remember, you can follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube, both at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, or simply visit our website www.dbsasaba.com. That's the news. Thank you so much for being part of it. My name is Francis Ofunwe. Enjoy your evening and good night.